Hello everyone, welcome to Business School 101. Pricing products and services can be tough for most business executives and marketing managers. If they set prices too high, they might miss out on valuable sales. However, if they set prices too low, they might enable to increase revenue. Thankfully, pricing doesn't have to be a sacrifice or a shot in the dark. There are many well-established and real-world proven pricing strategies that can help companies better understand how to set the right prices for their audience and revenue goals. In this video, I will introduce the 10 most common pricing strategies to you. These strategies are: competition-based pricing strategy, cost-plus pricing strategy, freemium pricing strategy, dynamic pricing strategy, skimming pricing strategy, penetration pricing strategy, economy pricing strategy, premium pricing strategy, bundle pricing strategy, and psychological pricing strategy. Within each strategy, I will provide its real-world examples, advantages, and disadvantages respectively. 1. Competition-based pricing strategy. Competition-based pricing is also known as competitive pricing or competitor-based pricing. This pricing strategy focuses on the existing market rate for a company's product or service. It uses the competitor's prices as a benchmark and doesn't take into account the cost of its product or consumer demand. Companies who compete in a highly saturated industry may choose this strategy since a slight price difference may be the deciding factor for customers. A classic example of a competitor-based pricing strategy is between Pepsi and Coca-Cola. Both brands compete against each other over pricing, quality, and features, and their prices remain similar, although Pepsi is slightly cheaper than Coke on average. Advantages. Number 1. Competitor-based pricing model is very simple to implement as it requires basic research and insight into who your competitors are and what they're doing with products and prices. Number 2. Low risk. Since your competitors are well-known players in the market and have been around for quite some time, the chances are slim that your pricing strategy might go wrong if you base it according to them. Disadvantages. Number 1. Unsustainable in the long term. This is a model attributed to short-term goals, and you'll be cascading your profits in the long run if you follow the same, because as you scale you need to evolve your pricing strategy based on your product and not based on what someone has to offer. Number 2. Can't see the wood for the trees. When you're implementing a competitor-based pricing model, you'll be missing out on details that your competitors might have. Because if they went wrong, you go wrong as well. This might take a hit on your profits and revenues in the future. Number 3. One amongst a herd. Since the competition-based pricing strategy is implemented solely based on your co-market players, you will not be seen as different and will be a part of a huge herd offering the same products and services. This will not help your brand stand out, and neither can you explain to your customers why your product is priced in this particular way. 2. Cost-plus pricing strategy. A cost-plus pricing strategy focuses solely on the cost of producing the product or service, or your COGS. It's also known as markup pricing since businesses who use this strategy mark up their products based on how much they'd like to profit. Cost-plus pricing is typically used by retailers who sell physical products. However, this strategy isn't a best fit for service-based companies as services typically offer far greater value than the tangible cost to create them. To apply the cost-plus method, a company normally adds a fixed amount or percentage to its overall unit cost. For example, let's say you sold toys. The toy cost $10 for manufacturing and another $10 for packaging, transporting, and marketing, so your overall unit cost is $20. Now you want to make a $10 profit on each sale. Therefore, you'd set a price at $30 per unit, which is a markup of 50%. Advantages. Number 1. Reliable. With the cost-plus method, you can ensure you're covering all your costs and generating your desired returns. For example, a contractor who uses cost-plus pricing on agreements with clients can guarantee they receive payment for their services and achieve their profit margin expectations. This eliminates the risk of loss and ensures that, no matter what happens throughout the contract, customer payment meets the seller's minimum expectations. Number 2. Easy to explain. Another benefit to cost-plus pricing is that it can be simple for customers to understand and accept. Because there are relatively few components involved, explaining how you arrived at your price to customers rarely requires a complicated explanation. Number 3. Require little research. Cost-plus pricing can be helpful if you have limited information surrounding customer expectations, competitor pricing, or market demand. The only data needed for cost-plus pricing are your own costs and desired profit margins. Disadvantages. Number 1. Not always correlate to customers' value. One potential drawback to the cost-plus method is that customers don't always equate the cost to value. Often, customers are most willing to spend when they perceive a product or service to be worth their investment. If something is costly to produce but offers little value to the customer, they may be reluctant to spend money on the offer. Number 2. Reduce efficiency. Another potential challenge to cost-plus pricing is its potential to interfere with a company's efficiency. Often, companies aim to lower their operating costs and expenses so they're able to increase their profitability. With cost-plus pricing, however, suppliers fix their margins and guarantee return rates, so they may be less motivated to reduce costs. Number 3. Not taking into account the competition. Cost-plus considers only internal factors, and so it can sometimes ignore important external factors like competitor offerings. This can create a challenge because if a company prices its product too low, it can sacrifice potential profits. If they price it too high, customers may purchase a competitor's offering instead. 3. Freemium pricing strategy. A combination of the words free and premium, freemium pricing is when companies offer a free version of their product with basic functions and hope their users will eventually pay to upgrade or access more features. Unlike cost plus, freemium is a pricing strategy commonly used by software companies. They choose this strategy because free trials and limited memberships offer a peek into a software's full functionality and also build trust with a potential customer before purchase. Dropbox is a file hosting service company that offers cloud storage, file synchronization, personal cloud, and client software. It provides a basic free tier and then 2 upgraded plans that include more storage and users. Since its freemium model is not offered as a tier, it's strategically positioned to entice customers who may balk at the price while minimizing any anchoring effect. Advantages. Number 1. No barrier. The consumer market has become competitive. Many software companies target customers and want them to try out their products. It's important to keep in mind that the term free attracts the attention of customers. That's why nowadays a lot of software companies and app developers offer freemium services while launching their products. Number 2. Build database. If you're a startup company and you want customers to try out your product and then further improve your product and service, then you should start with freemium. This strategy would help you to attract a large number of customers, even if you are nobody in the industry. The large database of free users could help you better understand your customers' real needs. Disadvantages. Number 1. Burnout cash flow. When companies start offering products or services for free to a large number of customers, it would keep burning out cash reserves. In extreme cases, it puts their business in great financial jeopardy. Number 2. Sunk cost. Helping out and supporting the free users don't guarantee that it would increase the conversion rate. Sometimes, the money spent on free users is higher than the income companies earn from paid users. 4. Dynamic pricing strategy. Dynamic pricing is also known as surge pricing, demand pricing, or time-based pricing. It's a flexible pricing strategy where prices fluctuate based on market and customer demand. Hotels, airlines, event venues, and utility companies use dynamic pricing by applying algorithms that consider competitor pricing, demand, and other factors. These algorithms allow companies to shift prices to match when and what the customer is willing to pay at the exact moment they're ready to make a purchase. For example, in 2020, as one of the largest ride-sharing service providers, Uber has more than 90 million active users around the world. Uber's dynamic pricing algorithm adjusts the ride fares based on 3 major variables: time and distance of your route, traffic and peak hours, and current rider-to-driver demand. Despite the criticism of unfair price surges, Uber stands by their algorithm and claims that it helps the system manage supply and demand issues and provides drivers with incentives to work in difficult circumstances. Advantages. Number 1. Alert to the competition. When you decide to implement a dynamic pricing strategy, by default you need to start thinking about your competitors. Who are they? What prices do they use? How often they are changing them? And why? The more patterns you're able to spot, the better. This tactic will allow you to be on top of all key market trends. Number 2. Better understand customer behaviors. Dynamic pricing can help companies to become more aware of who their customers are and how they purchase. With it, the demand curve for each customer becomes easier to calculate. This curve shows the minimum and the maximum price that a customer is willing to pay for a product or service. Understanding the relationship between the price and demanded quantity is the first and foremost step in building a model of consumer behavior. Number 3. Boost sales and maximize profits. When a company has a better understanding of its customer behavior, it can better analyze consumers' shopping patterns. Accordingly, they can charge different prices for different consumers to maximize sales and profits. Disadvantages. Number 1. Provoke customer alienation. No one likes to feel like they've been cheated on. However, that's exactly what happens when the customers find out that someone else is selling the product that they've already bought at a lower price. Dynamic pricing was good in terms of profit. However, companies do run the risk of alienating their customers if they find out that there was a more favorable option on the market. Customers could become dissatisfied and they tend to leave bad reviews. Number 2. Increase competition. Building a customer's trust can take very long, but it also can be destroyed in a matter of seconds. No matter how much they love your brand, if they feel that they've been tricked, you'll see them turning their back to you. When this happens, it's always followed by increased competition in the whole industry. More companies then tend to take your place and eventually take over the unsatisfied customers. 5. Skimming pricing strategy. A skimming pricing strategy is when companies charge the highest possible price for a new product and then lower the price over time as the product becomes less and less popular. Technology products, such as flat-screen TVs, video game consoles, and smartphones, are typically priced using this strategy as they become less relevant over time. For example, when Samsung first released its 2020 flagship smartphone Galaxy S20, the price was $999. However, 1 year later, after the release of the Galaxy S21, the price of the Galaxy S20 significantly dropped to around $600. Advantages. Number 1. Increase return on investment. Charging the maximum initial price at the introduction of a new product, particularly in high-tech industries, might assist your company in recouping R&D and advertising costs. Number 2. Maintain the brand image. Price skimming can also give the impression that a product is a high quality must-have for buyers who can't live without the latest technology. Higher costs at the start of a product's life cycle allow the company to develop a prestigious brand image that attracts status-aware consumers. Number 3. Divide the market into segments. The advantages of price skimming, as previously noted, is an excellent strategy to segment your consumer base, potentially allowing you to collect the most possible profits from different categories of customers as you lower the price. Number 4. Early adopters help in the testing of new products. One advantage of early adopter customers is that they serve as test subjects for new items. Those status-conscious customers who buy your new product first can provide vital feedback and assist you in ironing out the wrinkles before the next update and, hopefully, a larger user base. Disadvantages. Number 1. Not fit the crowded market. One of the disadvantages of price skimming is that it's not a realistic approach in an industry that has so much crowd. So, unless your product has incredible new features that no one can match, it may be best to avoid skimming if you want to preserve a competitive advantage. Number 2. Not effective if the demand curve is elastic. Another price skimming disadvantage is that it's only effective if your demand curve is inelastic. If your product's demand curve is usually elastic, which means that price adjustment has a stronger effect on product demand, then starting with high prices could substantially hinder your sales. Number 3. Attracts competitors. The success of high prices at the start of a new product's life cycle will entice competitors to enter the market. Skimming pricing might also delay the rate of adoption by your potential clients, allowing your competitors more time to mimic and improve on your product before you capitalize on the demand for the innovation. Number 4. Anger the early adopters. The final disadvantage of price skimming is that it may anger your early adopters. If prices drop too drastically or too soon after the first product introduction, companies' early users will feel cheated. 6. Penetration pricing strategy. Penetration pricing is a pricing strategy used by companies to attract customers to a new product or service by offering a lower price during its initial offering. The lower price helps a new product or service penetrate the market and attract customers away from competitors. The goal of a price penetration strategy is to entice customers to try a new product and build market share with the hope of keeping the new customers once prices rise back to normal levels. Penetration pricing examples include an online news website offering 1 month free for a subscription-based service or a bank offering a free checking account for 6 months. Netflix is the perfect real-world example of penetration pricing done right. We have often heard people complaining about their Netflix subscription prices going up or their 1 month of free subscription ending. Nevertheless, despite occasional grumbling, people are completely fine with paying the higher subscriptions for the unending flow of good media content. Advantages. Number 1. High adoption and diffusion. Penetration pricing enables a company to get its product or service quickly accepted and adopted by customers. Number 2. Marketplace dominance. Competitors are typically caught off guard by a penetration pricing strategy and are afforded little time to react. The company can utilize the opportunity to switch over as many customers as possible. Number 3. Economies of scale. The pricing strategy generates a high sales quantity that enables a firm to realize economies of scale and lower its marginal cost. Number 4. High inventory turnover. Penetration pricing results in an increased inventory turnover rate, making vertical supply chain partners such as retailers and distributors happy. Disadvantages. Number 1. Low price expectation. When a firm uses a penetration pricing strategy, customers often expect permanently low prices. If prices gradually increase, customers may become dissatisfied and may stop purchasing the product or service. Number 2. Low customer loyalty. Penetration pricing typically attracts bargain hunters or those with low customer loyalty. Said customers are likely to switch to competitors if they find a better deal. Price cutting, while effective for making some immediate sales, rarely engenders customer loyalty. Number 3. Damage brand image. Low prices may affect the brand image, causing customers to perceive the brand as cheap or poor quality. 7. Economy pricing strategy. Economy pricing is the way that the company keeps its product selling price very low with a minimum margin. The company believes that the lower product price compared to a competitor will increase its sales volume. They can archive this by decreasing overhead costs, marketing, and advertising expense. Economy pricing is used a lot in the commodity goods market. It's a great strategy for companies that have low overhead costs and the ability to sell a larger number of products to customers regularly. Here are a few real-world examples. First, supermarket store brands. Some grocery stores have their own version of popular brands. Companies like Trader Joe's, Aldi, and Costco are excellent examples that capitalize on economy pricing to drive their growth. Second, generic drugs and medications. Much like supermarket store brands, there are lots of different types of generic over-the-counter medications available through companies like CVS and Rite Aid. Third, budget airlines. Many airlines, such as Southwest, Spirit, and Frontier Airlines, try to keep their prices and fares lower than competitors. They usually do this by not offering services like free food and drink on a flight and keeping fines from airports low by keeping on time. They also usually only use one type of aircraft. Advantages. Number 1. Increase market share. If the company decreases its marketing advertising costs and reduces the overhead cost, it will still have a significant profit. This means economy pricing helps in gaining profit regardless of the investment costs. Number 2. Easy to survive during the economic recession. With the slowdown in economic activity for a particular period, consumers try to save money as much as they can. During this time, they tend to choose the more affordable products and services. Number 3. Help to cover the fixed cost. Many companies will confront huge sunk costs before making a profit. It is primarily fixed cost. So it is smarter to deliver mass items of a low value to cover some piece of the fixed cost. Disadvantages. Number 1. Less brand exposure. In economy pricing, companies cut down their marketing and advertising costs. Without proper marketing and advertising, products will not appear in front of the right audience. Number 2. Poor quality. In economy pricing, the company needs to reduce its overhead costs. When a company reduces its costs, it might go for low-quality equipment and hire staff that can charge less. So, this might affect the quality of the production. Number 3. High risk. Companies that choose economy pricing strategies normally have a razor-thin profit margin. If their costs of goods or services increase, they might suffer huge losses or even run out of business. Number 4. Fierce competition. Economy pricing also increases the competition in the current market. Once new startups see your company progressing, they'll try to copy you. They might come up with an identical product at a lower price to attract your audience to their development. 8. Premium pricing strategy. Also known as prestige pricing and luxury pricing, a premium pricing strategy is when companies price their products high to present the image that their products are high value, luxury, or premium. It focuses on the perceived value of a product rather than the actual value or production cost. Fashion and high-tech companies often use this strategy because they can be perceived as luxurious, exclusive, and rare. Examples of this strategy can be seen in the luxury car and tech industries. Car companies like Mercedes or BMW can get away with higher prices because they're offering products that are more unique than anything else on the market. Additionally, tech giants like Apple and Dyson can sell their products at a premium price compared to their competitors because of their unique designs or functions. Advantages. Number 1. High profit margin. Companies charge high prices because they add more value to the product. Due to high margins, companies may not rely on large sales volumes to cover operating costs and turn a profit. Number 2. High entry barrier. Usually, consumers tend to be loyal. They find the product satisfies their needs and wants. Strong loyalty ultimately results in high switching costs. Competitors need massive investments to be competitive. They may find it difficult to offer similar products at the same price point because they have to effectively build consumer perceptions. Disadvantages. Number 1. Difficult to maintain. To implement the premium pricing effectively, the company must maintain the relevance and consistency of its premium brand image and unique selling points. It is a difficult task because consumer tastes and competitive maps are dynamic. Number 2. More vulnerable. Strategies are vulnerable to a boomerang effect. Failure or damage of a few products can damage the company's overall product image. In some cases, the product's quality is not better. It's just that the company invests a lot in marketing, which builds a high-quality image of the product. Once consumers find out, they won't rebuy it. Number 3. Less potential for growth. Sales growth may be more moderate. The company sells limited products to give the impression of exclusivity. Like some luxury items, the rarer they are, the more valuable they are. As a result, the company had a hard time catching up with aggressive sales growth. 9. Bundle pricing strategy. Bundle pricing is a business strategy where companies group several products into a bundle and sell them at a single price, rather than attribute individual prices to each item. This means that a bundle is now an individual product. Businesses may also apply this pricing strategy to a variety of services in addition to items and products. Bundle pricing is widely applied in restaurants and fast food chains because it allows them to create bundles of food items that complement each other, which can encourage the customer to purchase an entire meal rather than a single item. In addition, internet and cable companies, such as AT&T, Verizon, and Comcast, can also benefit from using a bundle pricing strategy. They offer their customers several options for channel preferences, all of which have different price points and values. Advantages. Number 1. Simplify the buying experience. Bundling complementary products or services typically encourages customers to purchase your offering as the value you provide increases. Further, bundles simplify the buying experience by reducing the number of choices the customer needs to make. Number 2. Increases sales of low-volume products. Not every product you have will be a bestseller. Some may even underperform. In this situation, bundle pricing can help you boost low-volume products by bundling them with popular products. Please keep in mind that the products should be complementary and increase the value of the bundle. Disadvantages. Number 1. Customers may prefer individual products over the whole bundle. Some customers value their ability to choose what they buy. With bundle pricing, you are taking that freedom away, which negatively impacts their buying experience. Number 2. Customers may not need all products in the bundle. The perfect bundle is measured by how much value you add to the customer and your business. Customers who do not need or value certain products or services in the bundle will feel like they are overpaying and look for other options. Number 3. Increase the cognitive load. The amount of mental energy it takes to complete a task or make a decision is known as a cognitive load. Complex bundles may increase a customer's cognitive load to a point where they have analysis paralysis, making decisions more difficult. For example, choosing a single AT&T cable bundle can be an onerous task if you really want to do your due diligence and review what channels come with each. 10. Psychological pricing strategy. Psychological pricing is a strategy that uses pricing to influence customers' spending or shopping habits to make more or higher value sales. The goal is to meet customers' psychological needs for something, whether that's saving money, investing in the highest quality item, or getting a good deal. For example, according to the 9-digit effect, even though a product that costs $9.99 is essentially $10, customers may see this as a good deal simply because of the 9 in the price. Another way to use psychological pricing would be to place a more expensive item directly next to the one you're most focused on selling, or offer a buy one get one free deal that makes customers feel as though the circumstances are too good to pass up on. And lastly, changing the font, size, and color of the pricing information on and around the products has also been proven in various instances to boost sales. Advantages. Number 1. Boost attention. Who can resist a 50% discount offer? Or marked down items with before and after prices, like from $100 to $89.99. Having big red signs advertising your product promotion will surely force people to go and check what you're selling. Number 2. Simplify consumers' decision-making process. Most psychological pricing strategies simplify the decision-making process for customers. With the discount or promotion laid out before consumers, they tend to spend less time thinking about it because the offer is clear. This is good for retailers that thrive off of one-time sales. Number 3. High return. One-time sales can offer a high return on investments, especially during peak volume seasons, like holidays. Promotions that attract the masses are likely to get a higher return at the end of the day. Disadvantages. Number 1. Deceptive. Many psychological pricing strategies are based on the notion that customers are buying on impulse rather than well-researched thoughts. Customers who thoroughly think before purchasing will recognize manipulative pricing schemes. They will either control not to buy or leave your store for good and shop somewhere else. Number 2. Damage brand reputation. If you set rock-bottom prices just to trick your consumers into a quick deal, they will think your product is low quality and expect the lowest price possible. Number 3. No sales guarantee. Using psychological pricing tactics is not a long-term pricing solution. Well, it may increase your sales, but only for a short time. Some consumers will not mind paying higher prices because they prefer a different brand. Just because you lowered your pricing does not mean you'll get new customers. Besides the above 10 most common strategies, there are also many other strategies, such as geographical pricing strategy and hourly pricing strategy. They are either very straightforward or only fit limited or specific scenarios. Please always keep in mind that pricing strategies are not one size fits all. Finding the proper pricing strategy is dependent on your industry, as well as your company's unique objectives. Alright, that's all for today's topic. So, what do you think about the different pricing strategies? Please leave your thoughts in a comment below. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.